Have a guess. What do you think are the most profitable crops for farms to grow? If you are thinking about marijuana or opium, it's better to consider robbing a bank, because that's much easier than growing these crops, and you can become rich within days or end up in jail. Here, we are only considering the crops that are legal worldwide. Deciding which crops are right for your land depends on many factors, including climate and soil. It's essential that what you grow is well suited to your space, market, and time input. Now that you are nursing the idea of becoming a farmer, what type of crops can you cultivate for high profit? This video explains the 10 best crops that you can start cultivating to make money from agriculture. This video is arranged in such a way that the most revenue-generating crops per acre of land per year are mentioned towards the end of this video. If you are ready for this, let's dive right in. On number 10, we have ginseng. This crop is a long-term investment, taking about 3 to 12 years before wild ginseng root is ready to be harvested. Both American ginseng and Panax ginseng have been used in traditional medicine for centuries. Modern ginseng cultivation today ranges from extremely intensive, high-input, high-risk field production utilizing polypropylene shade cloth. Currently, good quality 8 to 10-year-old wild simulated ginseng is being sold for upwards of $800 per dry pound or $200 per fresh weight pound. A good wild simulated yield could be as much as 300 pounds fresh weight per acre. So $60,000 worth of ginseng can be produced per acre in 8 years, and it can move up to $200,000 for every acre of the plant if roots, seeds, and rootlets are also taken into account. In the right location, this can be a very profitable crop that requires very little maintenance once established. Next is goji berries. Goji berries are very nutritious, packed full of antioxidants, and may even have anti-aging and anti-cancer benefits. That makes them widely considered a superfood. Goji berry plants are deciduous and slightly thorny woody shrubs. They grow to 3 to 6 feet tall when pruned and cultivated. You can grow up to 7,000 pounds of goji berries per acre, which makes it the most valuable crop you can farm when it comes to berries. Dried goji berries can sell for $20 or more per pound. Harvesting up to 7,000 pounds per acre, worth $140,000 per acre, over a 3-year harvesting period, yielding roughly $46,000 per year. On 8th position, we have lavender. Lavender is an extremely versatile crop. Its flowers can be sold fresh or dried to florists. The dried flowers can also be made into floral arrangements or wreaths, or sold directly to crafters or craft supply shops. Of course, it's also used to make lavender oil. It's a common ingredient in aromatherapy products, skincare products like soaps and lotions, and even used in herbal pillows and sachets. Selling dried bouquets of lavender is the easiest way to go. It requires a minimal investment in equipment, labor, or time. A bunch of lavender can sell for anywhere between $6 to $13 depending on who your end buyer is. 1 acre can produce roughly 12,000 bunches of lavender, worth about $72,000 to $156,000 per acre of lavender over a 3-year harvesting period, yielding roughly $24,000 to $52,000 per year. Next, bamboo. Cash crops aren't always edible. Bamboo is an excellent example of something you can make money with, but isn't grown for food. Bamboo is considered tropical, but several varieties are cold hardy and can even stand below freezing temperatures. This is one of the quickest growing woody plants on the planet. In fact, one species in Japan grew by 3 feet in just 24 hours. This versatile plant can be sold by itself for decoration, or it can be used to create a hedge or privacy screen. Unfortunately, homeowners and landscapers will pay over $150 for a potted bamboo plant, and bamboo farmers are struggling to meet the current demand. An average bamboo grower can make more than $60,000 per year from an average-sized farm. Number 6 in this list is chives. Chives are perennial evergreen plants, keeping their leaves through the cold winter months and growing back in the spring. They are also known as a gateway herb because they are easy to grow and require almost no care. Another reason why chives are one of the most profitable crops to grow is that once you plant them, they will usually continue to grow year over year. According to market reports, chives are in high demand in the local and international markets, especially in Europe and the Middle East. In terms of yield, chives farming can produce a high yield per unit area. Chives wholesale anywhere from $4 to $8 per pound. An acre of chives can yield roughly 16,000 pounds, worth about $64,000 to $128,000 per acre. Next is wasabi. Everything you think you know about sushi might be a lie. The wasabi provided with the majority of sushi in the West isn't wasabi at all. Instead, it's a mixture of horseradish, mustard, and green dye. Why is this so? Real wasabi costs about $50 for a 100-gram stem. At wholesale prices, wasabi still sells for about $70 per pound. If you're selling directly to restaurants, expect to be able to charge around $120 per pound. In addition to that, the flavor of wasabi is highly unstable, and it needs to be prepared fresh. Real fresh wasabi is only at its best for about 15 minutes after the plant has been ground up into a paste. After that, it starts to lose flavor. Wasabi is hard to grow since it prefers freshwater streams. It's hard to grow in large quantities in a greenhouse because it's susceptible to disease. In fact, it's considered one of the hardest crops in the world to grow. It follows that with that reputation comes a high price tag. 2 stems can be grown in a square feet area. It takes 2 years to harvest wasabi. A good wasabi farm can earn $120,000 per acre per year. Next is saffron. It's hard to describe what saffron tastes like, but most people describe it as a floral honey flavor. Why does it cost so much? Saffron is made out of the stigmas from the crocus plant. It takes approximately 75,000 flowers to produce 1 pound of dried saffron. But to grow that many crocus flowers takes just a 1/4 acre of land, so you get some idea of how lucrative this crop could be to grow. The hard part of growing saffron is the harvesting process, which is very labor-intensive. You need to delicately pick the flowers as they bloom, and then pull out the 3 blossoms per flower. Harvest time, from seed to harvest, is typically 8 weeks. Saffron can sell for $10 to $20 per gram, or $5,000 to $10,000 per pound. 1 acre field can yield about 3 pounds of saffron, worth $15,000 to $30,000 per acre in 2 months, yielding roughly $90,000 to $180,000 per year. Next one is gourmet garlic. Gourmet garlic sells for much more than ordinary garlic, selling for as much as $16 per pound, in contrast to the $1 to $3 per pound that ordinary garlic goes for at your local supermarket. Gourmet garlic takes 130 to 180 days after planting for harvesting, and the average crop yields for garlic are roughly 10,000 to 12,000 pounds per acre, making it worth between $160,000 to $192,000. Some growers make up to 65,520 pounds per acre of garlic every year. On number 2, we have mushroom. Growing mushrooms is highly profitable, especially oyster mushrooms, which can be grown in as little time as 6 weeks and sell it for a good amount. Mushrooms are usually grown indoors and produce an incredible yield per foot square. Another best thing about mushrooms, they can be grown vertically in huge hanging bags to make the best use of your small space. Oyster mushrooms, for example, only take 5 weeks to grow, and they can fetch around $10 per pound. Harvest time from seed to harvest is about 6 to 8 weeks, so more quantity from less space is obtained. A mushroom grow bag yields reportedly 300,000 pounds per every acre of arable land, which comes out to roughly $3 million per year. The main downside of this crop is this requires a good amount of initial investment to set up an indoor farm area. Failure rates are also comparatively high during the initial stages. Moreover, if the place is not sterilized well, the doors to contamination of crop to harmful pests is open, and chances of contamination are always high in farming mushrooms and other fungi. Mushrooms don't last long after picked and are difficult to ship across the country, so local growers have an advantage over larger commercial operations. When we come to the final part of this video, the most profitable crop per unit area is microgreens. Growing microgreens can be very profitable, given the high sales price and excellent yield per square foot. Microgreens take 2 or 3 weeks to grow and usually sell for over $8 a pound. You will probably want to use shelves to run strips of fluorescent lighting and have up to 6 rows of microgreens in a stack. Microgreens should be sold fresh since they don't have much shelf life once harvested. You can trade microgreens to retailers wholesale, or sell to local grocery stores or local restaurants. Each tray of 10-inch by 20-inch size can harvest about 5 to 6 ounces of microgreens, making it about 2 trays per pound. Every square foot planted should yield 4 pounds of greens per month. So if you have a 500 square foot indoor farm area, you can generate an income of $16,000 per month. That's insane. Whatever your situation, there's loads of choice when it comes to high-value crop for small farms. You just need to think through what's going to work best for you in terms of time input, cost, growing conditions, and finding a market for the produce. Do some research, make a choice, and get growing.